It's your boy Views Tube. We are back again for another reaction. More gangland content because the music just gets copywritten. So hopefully it don't start happening with this. We gave you Camden before, just fixing this light, trying to. And we gave you Birmingham. Now there's a lot more from London. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more from all over the place. So I'm just doing a few different places. I'm definitely going to be getting into the London ones as well. So watch out for that. Like, share, subscribe. And without further ado, the deadly divide in Huddersfield. F Block versus Topside, I believe. Let's see what it's saying. And big up to UK Drill Plug also.
In recent years, we have seen the rise of drill music coming out of Huddersfield, with rappers like Booter B making a huge noise in the scene. However, what a lot of drill fans are unaware of is the ongoing war in Huddersfield between two street gangs.
Sorry guys, I know I've just started it, but I was just listening to Booter B not long ago. The Daily Duppy. I know it was obviously old, but I was like, rah. So you should always be like, well, not you, I'm saying people should just like, you see, like musicians, sometimes people don't find your music straight away, they find it a little bit down the line. So just put out your stuff because someone will find it. But yeah, no, just obviously I didn't really know where Booter B was from, but I was just listening to him literally a couple of days ago from Huddersfield.
Huddersfield is even known to have a massive gun crime problem, with news channels labeling it an epidemic. With broad day shootings and stabbings playing out between two gangs, those being F Block and Topsides. F Block is a street gang based in Fartown and parts of Birkby within North Huddersfield, around the HD2 postcode. Fartown is notoriously known as the worst part of Huddersfield, with it even being labeled a war zone by residents.
A war zone? Well, does Huddersfield really get down like that? It's Yorkshire, I'm pretty sure. The violence was clustered in areas like Birkby, where I used to live, or Fartown. Birkby sounds like something from in Liverpool or something, but yeah, that's crazy, man. And talking of Booter B, listening to his Daily Duppy, he was talking some madness. Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe it really does get down like that in Huddersfield, man. Wow.
Residents living there. The F Block gang has been around for nearly 2 decades, with F Block even having traces back to the early 2000s. However, they would only refer to themselves as F Block in recent years, due to them starting to drop music. F Block mainly beef Topsides, Dalton Drillas, and Birkby, which has become very deadly in recent years.
So F Block beefed 3 different sides.
F Block also has an alliance with Walpole, or Wally, which is
Wally, you know. Where's Wally? Somewhere in Huddersfield.
another street gang based within Huddersfield. In recent years, we would see F Block blow in the drill scene, with a young rapper named Booter B exploding on the scene. Now, Topsides is a gang also based around the HD2 postcode within North Huddersfield. However, Topsides is split into 3 different subsets, with the younger generation going by RSK and Up Top nowadays. However, the original generation goes by BBD, which stands for Black Bandana Gang.
So I wonder if they're all mixed up, because it said F Block was beefing like 3 areas, and then it looks like Topsides in 3 areas. So I don't know if I'm getting that wrong. Someone let me know in the comments. But again, you know, it's going to be young boys probably. Do you know what I'm saying?
These 3 sets make up the Topsides gang. Topsides is based around Brackenhall, Sheepbridge, Dayton, and Bradley. Whilst Topsides don't have many rappers, the rappers they do have are seriously hard and definitely deserve some recognition.
Who are the Topsides rappers? Again, let me know in the comments, people.
A lot of Topsides rappers don't really drop songs much, with a lot of their music being leaked. Around 2018, Topsides would start beefing Wally or Walpole, which was close with F Block. Topsides would also beef Dalton Drillas around this time. Following.
Okay, now I'm a bit confused, because I thought the areas. Now I'm a bit confused. But just like normal with these things, you know, it's people that kind of know each other, grown up with each other, or not far away from each other. Do you know what I'm saying? And you get caught up in this stuff, and people start losing their lives. It's mad. The last one, they were talking about Birmingham. The kid was 13. I mean, is it going to get worse than that? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
This F Block, Wally and Dalton would decide to form an alliance. However, this wouldn't last long, and Topsides would declare a full-on war between the gangs. F Block members would start to distance themselves from Dalton members around this time, as they saw them as responsible for starting the war. This meant Wally and F Block would beef Dalton, and also beef Topsides. This then resulted in Dalton being a renegade gang, meaning they have no allies.
Everybody K. But this is confusing to me, man. I cannot lie.
And beef all of the gangs in Huddersfield. Now, stabbings and shootings would play out between Topsides and F Block, with a lot of these shootings playing out in broad daylight. So much so that around the late 2010s, F Block would even start referring to themselves as BDG, or Broad Day Gang, due to them carrying out shootings and stabbings on ops in broad daylight.
You'd be surprised. Excuse me. You'd be surprised, man. Let me just sort this. Don't know what's going on with this right now. You'd be surprised, man, at how many broad day things actually happen, because you know, at nighttime, people tend to be in their yard or be somewhere else or be traveling between places. It's not like you can't catch no one at night, but you'll be surprised how many people you catch in the day. And if you're really living your life like this, you can't waste those opportunities. Do you know what I'm saying? But the same goes for you. Once you live your life like this, it's a whole different type of, a whole different way of living.
Would be around 2018 that one of the most notorious incidents would occur between the gangs. Now, Topside's boss named LM and other Topside members would catch a prominent member of F Block named Booter B. They would attempt to shoot at him. However, the gun would allegedly jam, with the Topside members fleeing. Around...
Oh, Lord. Excuse me, like my throat's on one today. Excuse me, can't bloody clear it. But, yeah, man, in Booter B's Daily Duppy, he was talking some wild stuff, like he's really letting it go and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, right, okay. Obviously, just hearing someone, you don't know if they really mean it or not. But it sounds like he did. Do you know what I'm saying? Sounds like he did. He said he's had people shooting at him and things like that. And I thought he was just chatting rubbish. But obviously not. Obviously not.
30 minutes later, F Block would look for retaliation, and a member would spot LM and shoot him in the head on camera. However, the bullet would graze his head, and...
Sorry, let me bring that back, man. Jeez.
Minutes later, F Block would look for retaliation, and a member would spot LM and shoot him in the head on camera. However, the bullet would graze his head, and he would luckily survive. This incident is often referred to in recent Booter B songs. Let's go.
Ooh. Ooh. And these look like young people, man. Not like kids, but you know, young people, man. To be living your life like this, it's just mad. It's mad to me. It's easily got into though, but it's mad.
It would be around August 2019 that we would start to see F Block members starting to make music. They would drop a rude cipher titled F Block Block Cipher. This included many different F Block members freestyling. They would refer to the shooting of LM multiple times on this song, and would even reference another incident where another opposition member would be stabbed with his girlfriend.
Remember that day in Brax when he got knifed? Man tried one, got his girlfriend sliced. Don't try come to my side.
Drill fans would start to notice F Block as
his girlfriend sliced, you know. What's going on? Like I keep saying in these videos, man, it's bad enough that you like have to live your life like this, but please target the people that you actually want to do harm. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, civilians shouldn't be getting involved, you know, girlfriends, things like that. But the streets ain't fair, and they definitely ain't safe.
Their bars were seriously rude. The cipher would do good, considering this was F Block's first appearance in the drill scene, and it currently sits on 428,000 views. Following this, F Block wouldn't really be consistent with music, with most of the members focusing on the streets, with F Block alone even making up a lot of the knife and gun crime within Huddersfield.
Sorry, that just looked like he was doing VAR. Like, that's mad. Sorry.
With F Block even allegedly shooting one of their own members around 2019 due to internal...
What? Did you say 18-year-old? Sorry.
With F Block even alleged...
An 18-year-old male turned up at hospital with a gunshot wounds to his lower leg. Like, jeez Louise. What's going on, man? They're even shooting their own people There's always fallouts, man. This is how things start, and then it just don't end.
Shooting one of their own members around 2019 due to internal disputes, separating the gang into 2 sub-gangs, which in recent years we have seen popular F Block member Booter B rap about. It would be around 2020 where Booter B would be jailed. Popular F Block member Booter B rap.
I shot up my block and let the pagans claim when we were sliding. Tell the driver don't make mistakes, or tell the driver.
About. It would be around 2020 where Booter B would be jailed, as we wouldn't see any more music following the F Block cipher. Topsides would also be quiet around this time. However, they would still carry out deadly attacks on any rivals, with them also being a big contributor to the gun crime within West Yorkshire.
Possession of weapons crime makes up 1.0 of all crimes reported in the postcode area. Total number of possessions of weapons crime is 287, and this number has been decreased by 2%. Yeah.
However, a lot of their members were pretty unknown, as they didn't really rap around this time. However, we would see the beef explode in December 2020. On the 19th of December 2020, Jams, who was an F Block member, would be taking his mum to work. However,
was taking his mum to work on December 19th, 2020, when he was shot in the revenge attack outside his home in Ripon Avenue, Huddersfield.
What Jams didn't know was that 3 Birkby gang members would be looking to kill. They had scouted out Jams's house the day before and would be waiting outside his house for him. Jams would be sitting in his car outside of his house waiting for his mum when the Birkby members would spot him. They would fire multiple shots into his car. Jams would be hit numerous times. Police and emergency services would be called to the scene. Paramedics would try their best to save Jams. However, sadly, he would be pronounced dead on the scene. A murder investigation would be launched following this. Originally, 4 men were arrested for the murder.
4 men have been sentenced. Right, well, at least they look like men. I'm not saying obviously what they've done is right. I'm not condoning it whatsoever. But too many of these things that I watch, it's like the young boys, do you know what I'm saying? Doing stuff that you'd think should be left to the bigger boys. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, really and truly. But yeah. Look at them. They're not looking too young. So if they get life, that will probably be the end of them.
Police would connect
in jail, I mean,
these men to the crime, and later in 2022, they would all be found guilty and be jailed, with 3 of the 4 men getting a life sentence. Rest in peace, Jams. F Block would be looking for retaliation following the murder of Jams, and only days later, they would find their retaliation. Only days later, F Block members would be lurking and looking for ops. They would spot a Birkby member named Tooch standing outside of a mosque and would shoot him multiple times. Tooch would be hit in the head.
Worshippers horrified as man injured in drive-by shooting near mosque. Wow. But to be fair, like, you know, we're talking about Active Gang and Camden, and, you know, these guys are shooting up funerals. So to be honest, it's like, you know, there's no rules. There should be. Like I keep saying, if you're gonna live like this, at least get the people that's done the works. Just getting random next people. You know what I mean? But that's how it goes. If you're in the gang and they can't get no one else, they're gonna get you. If you're affiliated, if you're a friend of a friend, or you know who you're friends with. Do you know what I mean?
By the oncoming bullets, with him being killed on the scene and paramedics arriving moments later. However, luckily, Tooch would be revived by the paramedics and would survive the attack. This incident is also often referenced in recent F Block songs. Only 10 days after the death of Jams on the 29th of December.
I don't know if he was ever the same though. Obviously, I don't think they've said that. They said that he went, and then they managed to revive him. That's a wonderful thing, you know what I'm saying? You know, that humans have got the technology and stuff like that to know how to, I don't know, bring someone back who's just passed, or, you know, flatlined or whatever. It's crazy to think about. And then how is that person going to live the rest of their life? It's just mad when you think about it.
December 2020, Booter B, who hadn't dropped any music at all in 2020, would return to the drill scene with a Hood's hottest freestyle. Fans would start noticing that Booter B was talking real grease in his songs, and fans would also start commenting on how hard he sounded on drill beats. Booter B was steadily growing a fan base. 2021 would begin, with the violence in the streets still continuing, and dozens of articles being published.
Man needs emergency treatment in the hospital after being stabbed in Huds. Kirklees man jailed for 6 years over shooting of 12-year-old boy. And that's what I'm trying to say. What? So what did they try? And was they aiming for this guy? Was he a perpetrator of whatever? Like, do you know what I'm saying? A 12-year-old boy, and that might have just been collateral, where these guys just open fire, mosques, funerals, like just into groups of people. And that's what I don't understand. That's what I don't like. It's not to say I like any of the killing and drilling anyway, but know who you're getting. The people that live their life like this, not innocent people. But to be honest, like a 12-year-old boy, picture released in police hunt for Huddersfield gunman after shots fired at house. I mean, jeez.
Surrounding broad day shootings and stabbings playing out between the gangs. And in August 2021, Booter would return to the drill scene again after not dropping for 8 months. He would return with a song titled No Point. The music video to this song was even filmed on their op block. In December 2021, Booter would link up with Pac-Man TV and release a hotspot freestyle, which would gain a lot of attention and currently sits at just under 1 million views. However, Booter wasn't done there, and 10 days later on the 16th of December, he would drop a song on Mixtape Madness titled Blanks, where he dissed Topsides, Birkby, and Dalton for attempting to shoot him with blanks. 2022 would begin, and we would start to see Topsides rapping again, with a younger generation going by RSK starting to drop songs. In May 2022, 2 members of RSK named YC and Lurks would drop a song named Risk It Avenue, where they would diss
YC and Lurks. Okay. Okay, let me know if I should react to some of the music. I'll probably end up getting copywritten, but you know what I'm saying? Big up to UK Drill Plug also.
Block and other rivals. Topsides would be somewhat consistent, with rappers like YC really putting on for RSK around this time. At the start of August 2022, F Block members would spot a Topsides member named Nino outside of a men's club. The F Block members would draw knives and start to attack Nino. One of the F Block members would thrust his knife towards Nino, resulting in his hand being chopped off.
What? Thrust his knife or chopped down, and his hand was chopped off. I mean, whatever that was in the picture. Hold on, sorry. I don't know if that was big enough, but what? Listen, I've seen someone's hand get chopped off with a machete, like real talk in Antigua, but wow.
Member named Nino outside of a men's club. The F Block members would draw knives and start to attack Nino. One of the F Block members would thrust his knife towards Nino, resulting in his hand being chopped off. Eyewitnesses said that his hand was
in pub garden, continued to twitch. Gee, you know, like the Adams family. Sorry, it just came off the screen. I was trying to just pause it to see the size of the knife, but I don't think it would have showed me anyway.
Twitching on the floor following the stabbing. The F Block members would flee following this attack, with a 17-year-old boy being arrested shortly after the attack. However,
see what I'm saying? Chopping off people's hand at 17.
I can't find if this person was charged or not. Booter B would be blowing up around this time, gaining hundreds of new fans every day. However, what no one was expecting was that the next person would be killed due to the beef during this time. On the 15th of August 2022, Javs, who was a Topsides
I can't really tell how old this person looks.
Member, would be at a street party on Claremont Road, Moss Side, which was located in Manchester. During the
Hold on, sorry, so I know I just paused it. They're from Huddersfield. How far is Huddersfield from Manchester? I'm not good with the geography. I'm not sure. Must be like an hour or so, maybe. But it must have been a big party if someone from Huddersfield was there and their ops were there at the same time. That's what I find a little bit. Do you know what I mean? That's a little bit weird for me, but
early hours, members of Wally named JD and Capo would spot Javs, who was standing with.
Now they don't look too. I mean, obviously this one's got facial hair and stuff. I mean, I don't know, like early 20s, late teens, maybe.
Friends, the boys standing with Javs would fire off a firearm toward JD and Capo. However, the bullet would miss and hit the floor. Capo and JD would respond with knives and would chase down Javs. Javs would be
what? All right, so you might have missed with the first bullet, right? But you've got a gun, and you're being chased down by guys with knives. Did I just hear that correctly? Don't get it twisted. I've heard of things like this happening before. People getting moved to with their gun, and it's like, what on earth is going on? Because when push comes to shove, people ain't killers like that. Even half of these people that do these drills, like I said on the previous videos, they do it and then they go home and pray that the person don't die, because they're not really murderers like that. How are you going to get, if you've got a gun and you're getting chased down by guys with knives? The math ain't mathing.
Stabbed 5 times by the pair, JD and Capo would flee the scene.
Oh, sorry. Oh my days. You shot at them, missed, and then you got chased down by them and then got stabbed, and you've got a gun. Can someone make sense of that, please?
Would chase down Javs. Javs would be stabbed 5 times by the pair. JD and Capo would flee the scene following the stabbing, and paramedics and police would be called to the scene. Javs would be rushed to hospital, however he would die whilst being treated in the hospital. A murder investigation would be launched following this, with all of the members from both opposing groups going on to be arrested. JD and Capo would also be arrested.
I was seeing 22, 23, so yeah, like earlier 20s. I'm still saying it's still tragic. Like, let's not get that twisted, but when you're hearing 12, 13, I mean, that's just, anyway.
He would be charged for the murder of Javs and would be found guilty. JD, who was a Wally member, would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 21 years, and Capo would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 20 years. Rest in peace, Javs. It would be around August 2022 when Booter B would find himself fresh home from jail after previously going to jail in May, 3 months earlier. Whilst it's unknown why he went to jail, he does reference being charged with 3 attempted murders, but beating the cases a lot in his songs following this.
You are not the same. Took the AM to trial and never lost the case. I see the look. I got back 3 attempted murders. I shot my mouth, never said one word. I've shot man.
Booter B would be released shortly after the death of Javs and would drop a song named B.
That's crazy. So just listen to that lyric. He done something like obviously had attempted murder cases or whatever, and he's saying he was quiet and didn't say a word. Then you come on a drill track and say everything. Listen, I think he's good as well. I'm not gonna lie. I don't, you know, I've listened to some of his stuff, but it's just like, that makes sense, innit? The irony.
B, or Back and Better, where he would rap about jail and how his fans kept telling him to focus on music, which it looked like Booter was ready to do. The violence would continue to play out in the streets, and under a month after the death of Javs, another person would be killed as a result of the rivalry. On the 21st of September 2022, a 15-year-old member of Topsides named YR would be on.
Look at this guy. Same age as my son. Look. Does he look like a big man? How is this youth losing his life? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get this. I don't get this.
His way home from school with friends in Huddersfield, when 2 young members of F Block named Slim and Jugga would be waiting.
Guy on the right looks charged as hell. Barely a scrap of facial hair between them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what? And you're moving to another schoolboy and stabbing him to death. Like, what is going on in the world, man?
To ambush him. They had dressed into black clothes and had prepared face masks. When YR would walk past Slim and Jugga, the 2 F Block members would jump out and stab YR multiple times. Slim and Jugga would flee the scene following this incident. YR's friends would try and help him. They would call emergency services, who would arrive on the scene moments later. However, despite their best attempts to save YR, he would sadly be pronounced dead 2 hours later in hospital, meaning yet again, another murder investigation would be launched. The 2 killers who weren't able to be named due to them being 15 and 17 at the time would be.
Can't name them, do you know, because they you know what I'm saying? Because they're kids at the time and they've just murdered another kid. For what? Do you know what I'm saying?
Be arrested not long after the murder. They would be found guilty and would be sentenced to life with a minimum of 16 and 18 years each. After the sentencing, their names and faces would actually be released to the.
The only positive for these guys is maybe, you know, they can turn their life around and they'll kind of be like my age or a bit older than me, but you know, by the time that they might still have a little bit of life left to do something good with it. But still, man, it's just like someone lost their life and these guys lost their life as well, because they're not even smart enough to not get caught or for there to not be enough evidence for a case to go ahead, because they're idiots. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all peer pressure. They're young kids. They just do it and then say, oh shit, you know, crying into their pillow. I'm digressing.
Public. Rest in peace, YR. My condolences go out to his family. During the rest of 2022, Huddersfield would basically be on fire, with it being normal to see shootings and stabbings happening daily. This much violence in Huddersfield would result in the crime rate soaring to 136% in comparison to London's crime rate of 87%. Booter B would release 6 different songs following his release in August 2022, which is.
Who would know that Huddersfield's cracking like that? I met a few people from Huddersfield in Napa, Leicester. I know Nottingham is, yeah, everywhere. everywhere there's people that get is frying. Just like when I done the Camden one, and it's like the guy was like, "Oh, not many people knew that anything was going on in Camden." It's been frying for a minute, so yeah, it's only when you get someone like famous or a rapper or gonna put that puts the area or the gang on the map. But as I said before, it's just silly. You're gonna go to jail or you're gonna be questioned by the police and try and get ratings for not saying nothing. But yet you're coming onto to tracks and saying all of the things that you've done.
Good consistency and would result in Booter blowing in 2022, with new and old drill fans all starting to notice him and the Huddersfield drill scene. 2023 would start with Booter B dropping a UK drill banger titled Strawberry Daiquiri, which was seriously hard. And on the 9th of February,
I ain't even heard that. When I was saying I was listening to him, I was listening to his Daily Duppy. Excuse me. Let me know if that's good, man. We might react to it.
would drop a song featuring Mastermind. However, only days later, another person would fall victim to the streets. On the 20th of February 2023, a 17-year-old named Harley Brown, nicknamed Drips,
State of it again. You don't know if that's hair on the lip or dirt. Like, this is how young these guys are. Drips. What is going on, man? This is the saddest thing about it, people. Honestly, sorry, I know I'm kind of digressing, man.
was an alleged member of Wally, which was a gang allied with
Alleged. Do you know what I'm saying? They're not asking questions. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's mad, though. It's mad.
F Block. Anyways, Harley would be standing near a 24-hour shop on Colne Street within Huddersfield and would spot two boys who were Dalton gang members. Anyways, the two boys aged 16 and 14 would chase
Just the young boys, man. Murdering people. When I got bodies back in the day, it was females. It was what?
Harley onto Maple Street, where they would catch up and stab him multiple times. The attackers would flee, and Harley would stagger onto Kings Mill Lane. Harley would be taken to hospital. However, he was sadly pronounced dead in hospital hours later. Following the attack, a murder investigation would be launched, with the 14-year-old being arrested hours later during the day, and the 16-year-old being arrested 2 days later, on the 22nd of February 2023. Both of the teens would be facing murder charges, with them both pleading not guilty. However, in December 2023, both teens would be found guilty. The younger boy would be given 10 years, and the older boy would be given 14 years.
So that's even better than the ones before. I'm not saying what they've done is good. I'm just talking about what they might be able to do with their life after. But if they come out like, you know, in their late 20s, early 30s, there might be people that know them and want to get back even then. Do you know what I'm saying? How do you come out of jail? You've been in jail for a big period of your life. Do you know what I mean? How are you going to rehabilitate? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? Probably not.
Rest in peace, Harley Brown, or Drips. Harley Brown would move from Deptford in South London to Huddersfield around 2020.
To avoid gang stuff, I bet. Because I know so many people that like, yeah, we're gonna go country, or we're moving out of London because it's too rough, and wherever they go, it's still cracking. Just like because I'm telling you, it's everywhere now. I bet they're gonna say to move away from violence, and he's moved to Huddersfield, and now he's dead to gang violence.
As his mum had fears he was being groomed into drug gangs in Deptford. My condolences go out to Harley.
And that happens all the time in London. They get the young boys. When they say you're going OT, you're going to the country, you're going Brighton, Crawl, like wherever. You know what I'm saying? Southend, to go and sell up the drugs and all that. They moved from South London to Huddersfield for a better life, and he died to gang violence. Make that make sense.
Harley's friends and family. Following this incident, Booter B would drop his first EP featuring 5 songs. These songs had one feature from fellow F Block member GR, who we have also seen start to make music following this. Booter B wouldn't stop at an EP though, with him dropping a Daily Duppy and a Mad About Bars to end the year. And as 2024 began, he would drop a 16-track album featuring rappers T-Way, Heady One, Still Brickin', SL, and We Want Wraiths, which
It's a lineup still.
just shows how well-known Booter B has become in recent years. If you have learned anything from this video, make sure it's to not involve yourself with the road life, as it really only leads to 2 options, those being jail or death, with it just being an endless cycle of violence that will never stop. Rest in peace, everyone in this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
In recent years,
Sorry guys. Yeah. Wow. Let me just stop sharing that. And just like all of these things, man, it always starts from something so small, or just little friction here, little friction there. And once you actually do the action of chinging, booting, anything like that, Even fighting can sometimes you can get past it. But once you start doing the other stuff, there's no going back, and it goes on and on and on. I don't know. I mean, look, there's probably stories of, you know, rivalries put aside because too many people are dying. I don't know. If there is, let me know. But it's not something you hear about regular. You just hear that the beef is frying. As for these people, they said there was even F block people back in the early 2000s because they were doing gang shit. Do you know what I'm saying? And once again, man, sobering as a dad, you know, as a father of a young boy, very, very sobering. Big up, man. This one's been a little bit longer. Some of them are longer than others, depends on the actual content. Big up to the UK drill plug though. The link for the original video will be in the description if you want to watch it uninterrupted. And of course, there will be more coming up very soon. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you got the bell notification pressed, and we'll be back with another one soon, people.